Hello everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is Prehistoric Facts special episode number 140, and we're going to be talking about a prehistoric bird, and that prehistoric bird is Kelenken. So here's a possible idea of what Kelenken could possibly look like. Some information about Kelenken. Now, Kelenken is named after a native name for a demon of the same name in Argentina. So Kelenken is actually a name of a demon. So that's kind of actually pretty neat. So a bird named after a demon. The length of Kelenken is very unknown. And the height of Kelenken is 10 feet, so approximately 3 meters tall. Weight is 500 pounds. Lived 15 million years ago in the Miocene epoch. Found in Argentina, described by Bertel in 2007, but discovered by Guillermo Oscar Aguirre Zabala in 1999, and he was actually a teenager at the time, and he was a student studying uh, paleontology at that particular kind of time. So here are some pictures up here. So you actually have in the upper left corner, here's where Argentina is highlighted, and then the upper right corner, you actually see here is skeleton of Kelenken. Now you can actually see it's only the skull and the bits of the foot are actually found. So not much of the skeleton has been found, but the skull is actually the most impressive feature. And so in both like with the skeleton, and then down here on this picture on the bottom is actually a size chart if you actually can see how big Kelenken really is. More information about Kelenken. Now, Kelenken belongs to a group of birds called Forest Rockidae, or nicknamed the terror birds. And terror birds are the most famous prehistoric birds of all time. Characteristic amongst forest rockids or terror birds is they got long legs designed for speed, large skulls, and in Kelenken's case, Kelenken's skull is as long as a horse. A horse! That is unbelievable. That is a big skull. And their speed could actually be between 35 to 40 miles per hour. It is a flightless bird, so they don't have really large wings. They have very small wings, and they're not really going to be designed to fly. It's because they're too heavy to fly. They're mainly ground. They're mainly ground level birds chasing after their prey, and the skull is actually their primary weapon. And when you look at the skull in the previous picture, you actually see it's hooked like all birds of prey, and all raptorial birds or birds of prey actually have hooked beaks. It's because they're carnivores. They need to eat meat, and that's what terror birds is they're carnivorous birds. And so if I went back 15 million years ago, I do not want to be encountering terror birds. So the environment in where Kelenken actually lived, it was warm and dry. There were actually some trees, grass, ferns, cycads, and flowers. There were some open savannas, lush forests, and there was plenty of animals out there too. So there were some reptiles, there were some birds, amphibians, insects, and also mammals. The prey of Kelenken, anything about any animal the size of a pit bull, it can swallow whole. So, because you see, if you look at the size of the neck and the skull of Kelenken, you would actually see is that it can actually possibly swallow a whole pit bull whole. But pit bulls were not around during the time of Kelenken, so whatever it could actually find that was actually the size of a pit bull, it could actually swallow whole. So maybe like juvenile mammals, it could actually possibly eat maybe juvenile crocodilians if it had to, but mostly it's going to go after the mammals. And also any animals that are actually as large as a horse, it would be a little bit more of a challenge, but it could actually take it down because the skull would actually act like a pickaxe. So it would be using that skull to actually whack at the prey, mainly at the back of the neck or otherwise in the back, right on the back of the skull, and so be paralyzing its prey. And its favorite prey to eat are the marsupials of South America. And South America was filled with marsupials, even giant marsupials, during that time 15 million years ago. The extinction of Kelenken was mostly due to climate change, but also something important was actually happening after 15 million years ago. It was actually the Great American Faunal Exchange. And so this is when Panama was beginning to form. So volcanic activity was actually kind of starting around to actually form the Isthmus of Panama. And you have a bunch of animals actually kind of crossing each other's paths in terms of migrating. So North American animals were heading down to South America, whereas South American animals were heading to North America, and the terror birds went along for the ride. And so you get the idea there. But also, it could actually have been outcompeted by other terror birds and also carnivorous mammals. And so the one kind of group of mammals that would actually be taken a disadvantage to are the big cats. And the big cats were actually the biggest problem for terror birds, but also wolves and even bears could actually give terror birds a little bit of problems. But also their prey disappeared. So Kelenken's prey just started to disappear. So the marsupials of South America were disappearing at a rapid rate after 15 million years ago. So you would actually see is that its favorite prey was disappearing, and the terror birds were actually adapting to actually take down placental mammals. So here's a world map of what the Miocene would look like. This is only 14 million years ago, but this would actually still be like what it is in 15 million years ago. But you can see here, this is where North America and South America are not totally connected yet, but it is actually happening. And that is actually going to be the case of the Great American Faunal Exchange that will actually happen many millions of years after that. And so that's where terror birds were starting to actually lose in the evolutionary battle. So the next episode will be on September 5th, 2019, be a Q&A episode. So if you got any questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life, feel free to email me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts of Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post your questions on the wall or in the comments section. Remember to keep your questions short to the point. And also for YouTubers out there, make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and also submit your questions in the comments section. And I'll try to actually do my best to actually pronounce the YouTube names out there. And so feel free, all my fans on YouTube, feel free to actually give me some questions in the comment section, and I do read them all, and I'll actually take them in consideration. And I've been getting a lot of questions lately, so for the next episode, I will actually at least have a couple more questions, and then I'll actually be able to do the episode on the 5th of September. But anyway, keep the questions short and to the point. And you can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you. Notice if you're younger people out there, to make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. It's the best motivation you could have a good education. It's very important to have a good education. So with a good education, you get a good job in the future. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time.